Can we do this again? Yeah, let's do this again, shall we? Greetings from not the Erie Coast. This is Mad Chad. Here's another episode of the Zoot Report. At this point in time, I'm just bullshit. Trying to keep myself up and at it. Stimulated. I have been tried ever since like 1 o'clock. Yeah. Ever since 1 o'clock. I hope you can hear me. I got the air conditioner on. It's 80 degrees where I am. 80 degrees. And it's a different 80 degrees from Northeast Ohio 80 degrees. Yeah. So here's a interesting one. Elements. Environments. I know we're talking about environment. So, environments, where you live, your weather. Oh, flea market. I see a flea market. We're breaking down. Ah, shit. I live in Northeast Ohio. It's cold. It's downright frigid. Oh, that hurt. Okay, Bertha. It's really cold. There's ice, there's snow, there's times when you're not supposed to, you shouldn't be driving, right? You shouldn't be outside unless you got 2 to 3 layers of clothing on. Ah, cool.
There's an object on road ahead.
Is there really? Get up ahead here. See if I can catch a glimpse of this military equipment. But your environment, it's yep, found the there it is. There we go. Check these things out. Cool, huh? See if we can go past them. Alright, oh. That was cool. Your environment, the environment that you live in, think about the needs that you have to weather those conditions, right? Yeah, I need heat. I need to stay warm in the wintertime. Summertime, spring and summer, I can open the doors and windows. I have low humidity, even though it gets 80 to 90 degrees. So it's relatively comfortable. I might need a fan, just a fucking fan in the window at night, just to sleep. But it's nice. It's nice in Northeast Ohio this time of year. It's kind of weird. You don't know if it's going to be 40. You don't know if it's going to be 70 or 80. It's kind of weird. So, but I'm down here in the south here, and it's 80 degrees, and I feel every bit of it. I sure do. Can you imagine messing around during the day here? Being outside. People do it. People work out here. I've done it. 80, 90, 100 something degrees in the south. It's no joke. You can get a heat stroke real quick. You can stroke out. You're all fucked up. South Carolina, same thing. It's bad. definitely need air conditioning, right? Air conditioning, man. Or, something like a swamp cooler or, a house in the shade. But hell, sometimes it's 100 degrees in the shade. I don't know. But imagine no power. You got no power. You're in the south. It's hot. Hot. You're taking trips to the watering hole. You're opening all the doors and windows. I don't know. Maybe you've got solar. Maybe you got solar generators, power generators, just to run fans or maybe air conditioning. I doubt you can run air conditioning off of power generators, solar power generators. No, you sure can. Way too much. But maybe a swamp cooler. Taking trips to the creek, letting the water evaporation cool you down. Wow, this is just beautiful. Hold on, there you go. Look at that. What the hell is that? I don't see that. Oh, that's a bug. That's the other thing too, environmentals, about the environment, is that they can be highly conducive to bugs, rats, mice, other wildlife, other nuisance insects and animals, snakes, spiders. Yeah, gets a little rough, a little taxing. And then, of course, they, in turn, can spread disease, pestilence. Pestilence. Vision. Your environment, in a hot environment, you get a cut, or you get nicked or cut or something like that. It's you need to take care of that wound, because it's going to fester up. It's going to get bad. Gangrene could set in, rot. Trench foot's a real thing. I've seen it. I've never had it myself. I have seen it. It's bad. Trench foot is when your foot stays wet all the time, through your sweat, through a wet, humid environment, wet and hot, humid environment, and you keep your boots on, or you keep your shoes on, and the skin literally wrinkles up, right? Well, it wrinkles up, and the skin separates from your foot. It's extremely painful. I seen it from a Marine that did a 30-mile La Crest and complained the whole time that his feet were hurting. And all he did was just lace up his boots even tighter. He said, "Don't take your boots off, because they'll your feet will swell, all that, And he didn't. And he finished it, and he was actually in my platoon. I think he was in my fire team. I'm not sure, but no, he was in my squad. But yeah, Corman took off his boots, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Took off his boots, took off his socks, and the skin with it. It was not good. Yeah. Needless to say, he was definitely the man. Mind over matter on that one. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Pain is just hurt leaving the body, right? Pain reminds us that we're still alive. And other jungle areas, I've seen this I've heard of this in Hawaii. You got to sleep with your shoes on. You because rats will come and literally gnaw off the dead skin off the bottom of your feet. Gnaw off the skin of your feet, and you won't even notice it. They do it such a way that you don't even notice it. And you wake up and take a step, and you're missing the bottom of your feet. Rats. Hey, funny. That's very apropos for the next plan. That plan that they like to do, what they did, back in 2020. This one's involving rats. Involving rats, involving injections. Everybody's so afraid that there's going to be some type of mandatory lockdowns. All these things. Here in this country, and I know this for a fact because I've done pest control. I have probably killed 1 million rats in my lifetime. 1 million. I don't know. I'm sure. Either by direct action or by setting traps and bait, traps and poison. But I've been in the rat's nest. I've been in the crawl spaces with the rats. I've smelt it. I know what they smell like. It's horrible. And what their urine and their droppings and their oily skin, because they rub the walls. That's what they do. They leave a pheromone scent that they can track. Everybody can track. All their rat friends can track. And that's how they move around. But yeah, and of course they carry fleas, ticks, all kinds of nasty little diseases. The Black Plague, that's where Black Plague came from, the rats. So our next Black Plague, either it's engineered or not engineered, I don't know, don't really care. I am nowhere near any type of rats, unless they're humankind. Rats and mice, preferably rats. It's the Norway roof rat and the wharf rat. That's who carries this thing that everybody's talking about. And well, in other parts of the world, that's totally normal. It's totally normal to have that type of thing running around, spreading viruses and diseases. And everybody takes steps. They take countermeasures. They, for one, it's a hygienic thing. You want to completely, you want to keep it clean, keep it dry. That's a challenge in some environments, but that is how you take care of that problem. Rats and mice. Storing your food properly, and like even if you have to do it in very hardy containers, or in refrigerators or freezers or something like that. Something that's extremely airtight, and make sure that you wash the outside of your container. They will chew through glass. They will chew through steel. I've seen it. Do it. But things like freezers and deep freezes, things like that, refrigerators, they don't mess with it. For one, they can't really smell it. They'll smell what's around it, like what's on the refrigerator. But for the most part, they're not going to chew a hole in it as long as the thing's running. Now, if it's not running and it's not airtight, like I said before in past episodes, rats will stop at nothing and take turns and tag team to get to that food source. It's pretty amazing what they can do. It really is. So keeping it clean, keeping it dry, keeping your food stored properly will eradicate that problem. It's a proactive way of dealing with that pest and those diseases, the diseases and viruses that come from it. So environments that are conducive to rats, fleas, ticks, it's there's always something that's a countermeasure. Keeping it clean, keeping it dry is usually the way to go in most environments. Up north, we don't worry about it. I mean, yeah, your mice, they like to cohabitat. Rats really don't, but they will if it's extreme conditions. They will. All right, I'll take this opportunity to clean my windshield thoroughly. Oh God, look at all these bugs just slamming into the fucking. Oh, I'm gonna have to do more than just windshield wiper. Yeah, windshield wiper ain't doing it. Anyway, other factors that you got to consider with your environment. Sorry, guys. Other factors to consider with your environment. Is it prone to hurricanes? Is it prone to tornadoes? Are you in Tornado Alley? Are you in a flood zone? Is there rock slides and mudslides? That happen periodically from time to time. Your environment. It's either stable or it changes drastically. Usually in the United States, our environment pretty much stays the same and kind of coincides with the seasons, everybody knows that in the wintertime it's going to get chilly, it's going to get cold. So, it's one to up. And if you're going to drive, if you're going to walk around, you got to take extra clothes with you, extra socks, some good boots, and so you can withstand the cold. Also training, right? Training. You train yourself to be in the cold as well. It's hard to train yourself in the heat, but you can do it. You can do it. You just got to drink a lot of water and monitor yourself even more. Some of the extreme cold weather areas, yeah, you gotta watch out for frostbite and shit like that. You gotta know the temperature so that you don't lose your extremities. Lose pieces of your flesh because it froze. In the summertime, in the hot areas, you've got to watch yourself for overheating, and you might not know it. You might not feel it. You're going to be miserable anyway. And sweating profusely is normal in the hot times. That's why drinking water is absolutely paramount. When you stop sweating, that's a problem. That means you are dehydrated and you're about to die. You're about to stroke out. Blurred vision, slurred speech. It's helpful if somebody is there to help monitor you. It's helpful if you have a cool place to go. If you don't, look for shade. Look for a place underground, which is past 6 feet is 58 or 58 degrees. even with your clothes on. You know, the thing that they used to do, the corpsmans, you know, when we were running around in the field in the summer, they were monitoring us, and if we passed out, nobody wanted to pass out from heat stroke or heat exhaustion, because that meant that we got the silver bullet. The silver bullet is a thermometer up your butt to get your core temperature. Past 103 to 105 is dangerous. 107 is death, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm pretty sure, pretty right there. You know, so if your body is trying to maintain a 98.6 degrees at all times, so drinking water and sweating profusely is exactly what you need to do, and to operate in these environments. You know, even if you got to keep your gear on, even if you got to keep all your clothes on, right? It's you just got to constantly pound and drink water, which means you're just going to be pissing all over the place, right? And a time that it's hard to piss. You know, so you're doing operations or whatever. You just got to whip it out and pee. Damn the modesty. I mean, who cares at this point? I gotta pee. And everybody else has got to pee too. So everybody else is drinking water. So your needs of water go up exponentially in the summertime, in the heat. You know, where they say you get like a gallon of water a day. I've went through, I don't know, I think I went through like 4 or 5 gallons a day in some hot environments, just fucking constantly pounding water. You know, so much so that my head is just fucking swimming. Feels like I'm swimming. You know, I mean, there's other factors involved in environmentals. Interesting anomaly is during the drought, during the Great Depression, in the Dust Bowl, literally the Dust Bowl, the topsoil was literally turned to dust, and crops couldn't grow, and they would have these freaking these dust storms that would just whoosh, fly, you know, cover everything in dust, and it was horrible. It gets everywhere. That too can spread some disease, throwing particulates, fecal matter into the air from other animals, right? And so you got to be careful. Being in a dust storm, being in a dry, arid environment, your skin dries out. You dry out faster, and you can't drink enough water. It's horrible. You just think that you have no place to go. Even your home, your home is, think about like no power, no AC, no electricity, power's out, and it's 100 degrees. Ouch. A lot of people they don't survive for prolonged periods of time. They just don't survive. Think about the Jawas, the desert people, you know, Tuscan Raiders. You know, they wear light, airy clothing. You know, they keep themselves covered from the sun, and they find interesting ways to find water. Water is a constant battle. You know, in the desert, being out west, y'all have some droughts, but you know, for the most part, we've irrigated most of that, right? Modern technology with its irrigation practices, you know, things like that. Water everywhere. Wow. Having a well, having a cistern, having water is essential to life, right? Is it 3 days without water? Yep. 3 days without water, you're in trouble. Up north, it's it's a land of milk and honey when it gets warm. Everything is growing. Crops are growing great. You can literally stick anything in the ground and it grows. Same thing in the south here. It's extremely hot, right? So in the south, heat is an issue. It can also kill your crops too. Your animals, you have to take considerations if you're raising livestock, engaging in husbandry. For the most part, your chickens and hens and ducks and shit like that, having water for them to cool off with, have shade. Because you don't want to bake your chicken before it you don't want to bake your chicken before you pluck it. I don't know. In the city? Oh man. Horrible time. Summer in the city. Back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. It can easily reach over into the hundreds, and no electricity. Everybody's got a fan and a hand fan, and they're fanning themselves, an old school fan, right? Whoosh, you're just fanning yourself, like a fucking Chinese master. Nah. We take things for granted like that. In the city, it's bad. People die. People die from the heat because they're stuck in their apartments. They're on machines. They're on oxygen. They need that creature comfort of air conditioning to keep them alive. Because if they overheat, they don't have any way to cool down. Right? They can't drink enough water, and then they're just gonna overheat. Heat stroke. Heat exhaustion. And you never really, if you do recover from a heat stroke, you never really recover from it for the rest of your life. It's yeah. And you'll always be susceptible to heat stroke. So at that point, you have to drink more water for the rest of your life and keep yourself cool in the shade. But I just think about, like, it would be absolutely miserable living in the heat with no power. Okinawa is extremely humid, 100% humidity. Like, I was in the barracks, AC on high, super, like, just Arctic cold in there. Took a cold shower. As soon as I got out of the shower, I started sweating. Crazy. Like, you literally sweat in an air-conditioned area. Now humans, that's damn, bro, you can run off the road. Okay. Get home safe. Get to the dock safely. Come on, you can do it. What was I saying? Okinawa, yeah, extremely hot. Oh my god. Extremely fucking hot. Jungle, the jungle environment. Oh man, that sucked. Everything was, there were bugs everywhere. Triple canopy jungle. There were parts of it that were during the middle portion, like 12 o'clock noon when the sun was in the highest. You couldn't see anything in front of your face. And it was super fucking hot. And you're sweating profusely. Walking through the jungle. It's crazy. Everybody's stopping to make sure they got water. You know, most of our weight we were carrying was with water. You know, not to mention all your gear and everything. It's a Mediterranean. I was in Italy, and it got like 112 out there. We're walking around in the wilderness in Italy, and it got like 112. They called index. You know, let's stop. We got to a shady spot. We're trying to walk it into the base, I guess, and couldn't make it. And we all had to stop, take off, strip down to our skivvies, you know, and drink water. We ran out of water, and the 5-ton was on its way. People were passing out from heat stroke left and right, and we had already burned through our 2 quarts and our 1 quart canteens, and luckily I had my Camelback, one of the first Camelbacks. That thing saved my life, man. And everybody else, I was like, here, have some water, here, drink water. We're drinking water. A few of us had Camelbacks. Thank you, Force Recon. Are you gonna pass me? Yep, you're gonna pass me. All right, good. Keep it moving. Yeah, that was a guy in Force that was on the ground level of when Camelback came out, and he was a distributor. It was perfect. I'd like to think that he made a lot of money. It saved a lot of lives, because now the Camelback it's like standard fucking equipment now, right? It wasn't before. We had to buy it. Mine was $70. It was just a simple one. One of the very first ones. Like 70 ounces, I think, or something like that. Maybe 100 ounces. Yeah, they finally had more. They finally got their shit. Got more products. I got the Mule, which was 100 ounces. But yeah, water. And people don't realize it either. In the cold, you're not thirsty, right? You're not thirsty. You're not profusely sweating. But you can dehydrate in the cold as well. You know, nobody really wants to drink water because, well, I mean, it's cold. Whatever, it's cold. But yeah, you can dehydrate in the cold as well. Now, when it's snowing and shit like that, water's everywhere, right? It just takes a lot of snow to melt to drink. And yes, don't eat yellow snow or brown snow. No. Or black snow. Ew. making snow cones or snow cream. It's a little snow, little milk, a little vanilla extract. You got you a little makeshift ice cream cone. And you know, I talk about South Carolina, but they have one of the oldest ice companies in South Carolina, in Myrtle Beach. It's like 100-something years old, or something like that, around in the 1800s. But they were making ice, and what they did is they dug a hole in the ground, a big ass hole, filled it full of sawdust, and then one winter they set out containers of water. They froze, they put them in the hole, and then anything they put in the hole now freezes. And it kept going, and it stays cold even in the summer. So they were able to make ice and transport ice and sell ice in South Carolina back when there was no air conditioning. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's crazy. You know, the things that they did, making an ice box, making an ice cellar. And if you build your cellar right, you know, the side of a mountain, you know, X amount of feet away, X amount of feet, you know, underground, it's a 58 degrees, constant 58 degrees. Doesn't take much to freeze. Put ice in there, it gets colder, and it's insulated because of all the earth around you. Right? So yeah, making ice. Wow. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. That's how they made ice back in the day. Before there was air conditioning, before there were freezers. Now we just put water in our ice trays and put it in the freezer. There you are. Boom. You take some Kool-Aid and you put it in a container and put a stick in it, put it in the freezer, and boom, you got a popsicle. Yep, I hear Ghost Lincoln. There's some popsicles in the basement. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do the whistle. But yeah, we as a human species have figured out a way to change our environment to fit our creature comforts and our needs. You know, we have air conditioning, we have heat, you know, electric, propane, right, natural gas. You know, back in the day we used wood, coal, boiler rooms, burn coal, heat the whole house. You take some embers, even going back further, the bedpan, the bed warmer. You would take hot coals from the fireplace and put them in this metal skillet looking thing that had vents all in it on the top. You put it in the bed, put it under the bed, and it warmed you. It warmed the bed, it warmed you. It was just a nice little touch, right? Probably didn't last long, but you know, sure beats jumping into a cold bed on a cold night in a cold ass castle, right? Little things, you know. The Vikings, the Norse, they in Scandinavia, they slept with their animals. They slept with their cows. They slept with bears. They would cuddle with a bear. They would cuddle with their dogs and cats all in one bed. Just everybody, just boom, because it's fucking cold, right? They'd keep a fire burning, and then they figured out a way to open and put enough got to figure out how much wood you're going to need, right, in the hearth or the fireplace or the open pit, and then crack a window and then crack your vent just right where you get enough airflow where it pulls the smoke out or the smoke goes up, right? It creates this natural flow. Just enough. And their construction, amazing. Like the longhouses, they use a lot of mud and things like that, rough green timber, and then throughout the course of years of using fire and smoke, it would continuously harden and dry out the material. They used cow dung. They would literally use cow dung and straw as a type of like log house. But yeah, think about that. You know, can you survive where you are right now in the summer, in the winter, without electricity? How would you do that? If you're out in the country, okay, you know, you're burning wood, you know, or something. You've got some kind of alternate heat source. You're burning wood. You're burning coal. You know, for the summer, man, that's got to be brutal. I would dig a hole. I would go subterranean. I would go subterranean. Best way to escape the heat. That's what the Mediterraneans do, and they made an interesting thing too. It was a room cooler, which was a upside down stepped pyramid that started from the ceiling as the base of the pyramid, and the point came down to the floor. And what that did is the hot air would rise, right? And it would have to take the steps up, and it would literally cool the room. So they had cooling rooms, and of course they use stone and granite. They had some interesting insulation properties. You know, you're talking about the Mediterranean. They never tasted winter, right? It's constantly sunny, constantly 80, 90, 100 degrees. You know, their spring is probably like 70 to 80 degrees. I don't know. So their prime directive is to cool everything down, right? Using white plaster, because dark colors absorb heat, right? That's why barns are red. Keeps it warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Yeah, red. White is the best to keep things cool because it reflects the light, reflects the heat. Black absorbs the heat. This is the best for absorbing heat. Right. Bikers, like legit with colors. Yeah. Hold on, bro. I don't know. So, what are the other things to consider in an environment, in different types of environments? What kind of things do you do to keep yourself cool? I've seen some interesting things. I thought about it too. You know, for people, you know, for my gear, for my plate carrier. There's a mesh vest that you can wear underneath your. It creates pockets. It creates space between you and your plate carrier. It helps to cool things down. I've also seen a battery-powered fan that literally you can put in the back of your plate carrier or the front of your plate carrier, and it just oh man, just whoosh, cools everything down. Provided that you've got that space in between you and the plate carrier, which you really don't want. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get hit, it's gonna hurt. Yes, there's also like a water-cooled suit. I've seen that, a water-cooled shirt that battery-powered. This cold water is it's cold, is running through your vest. I'm pretty sure that's expensive. It probably doesn't last too long. But we've all seen the fan hats. Those are fun, right? Got this fan, the fan mister, right? It shoots a little water. It's got a fan that blows water and mist on you, mist and air on you. So, I mean, those are little creature comforts, keep you from being totally miserable. I know that now in your environment, say out in the woods, right? Out in the woods, you're always it's always gonna be cooler, like down in a draw with some, where the creek is. It's always gonna be a slight difference in temperature. You'll feel it too. You'll feel it, and especially if it's shaded. There's a lot of tree cover, and you can get down in that draw. It can be nice and cool in there. Then you got water too, so take a little bath. Splash some water on you. Dam up the creek, and just hang out in the fucking kiddie pool all damn day. I don't know. I guess your car, right? Your car is definitely if it takes Freon, right? So you gotta maybe prep some Freon, put it in your car. Make sure your car. My Freon is going out, but it's nice and cool somewhat. It's enough to take the edge off. It's not 80 degrees in here. It is outside, so just knocked it down to probably in the 70s, I guess, and dries the air. So your car can be used as a makeshift, as a legit cooling station, an emergency cooling station. Provided that you got Freon and gas, and you keep your vehicle running. You can cool down real quick. Turn that AC on blast, on high, and just maybe take your shirt off, and then boom, you're done. You're good. Hey, I remember that guy. I passed you earlier. You passed me earlier. Now you're passing me again. So that tells me you pulled off the side of the road. I'm not ready to pull off yet. It's still daylight. So I am still on the road. It's a beautiful sunny day, and yeah. So I'll pull over when it gets dark, I guess. I don't know. I've got miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I eat and sleep. So yeah, just some things to consider. The hygienic nature of your area. Like I said, with pest, doing a do you have sewer? How do you get rid of that? Do you piss and shit in a corner of a field somewhere? Do you dig a hole? Bury it? Do you have a compost toilet? Those are pretty cool. They work. Do you have clean water to help sanitize everything and yourself? Keeping yourself clean, keeping everything clean and dry. that's extremely important to keep away pests and germs. I watched something today. They're talking about the ticks. This guy's like he keeps guinea hens. Y'all know what a guinea hen is. They're these big hens. Really not much good for anything else, but they get online if you got enough of them, and they just scour every surface of your land for ticks and bugs. That's what they eat. Just bam, 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 bam. Super peckers. They peck everything. Any bug, and they see it right away, and bam, they get it. They eat it. So, yeah. And you don't eat guinea hens, I guess. Really not good for eating, I guess. But they're extremely good at debugging your land, getting rid of all your ticks. Same thing as with chickens, right? I don't know if chickens can process and not give you Lyme disease. I don't know. How does that work? Tell me in the comments. Wow, just beautiful. Beautiful. What a living. Yeah, so just some things to think about as your environment, where you live, what you're doing, what grows in your environment, right? There's different growing areas. Some things grow better in certain areas than others. Some things don't grow at all, right? So all you gardeners out there, I'm trying to figure out a way to get past the coffee thing in Ohio. I want to grow some coffee. It takes a different type of coffee to grow, and you need like certain conditions that have to be met for it to grow coffee. But with your plants, you're going to be susceptible to pests. You're going to be susceptible to rabbits. Is it viable to set traps around your garden, or do you have cats and dogs that will eat these pesky critters, kill and eat them, right? Or do you sit around and wait for that rascally rabbit so you can Elmer Fudd him? Be very, very quiet while hunting rabbits, right? Little 22, slingshot or bow and arrow, I don't know, shotgun, boom! Yeah. Environment. Water is key, right? Water is key. Water is key. Especially in the cold, water is key. I can heat up water and warm myself. That'd be a nice pot of coffee, right? Warms your cockles. Hot cocoa, hot tea, soups, right? Northeast Ohio in the winter, right? Mostly everybody switches over to soups and stews. Wet food that's nice and warm. Good stuff, man. Good pot of stew that warms you right up, right? Then of course in the South, when it's hot, it's a cold beer. It's a cold iced tea. Man, I remember Mom making sun brewed tea, right? Fucking dinosaur. What the hell? Damn. Cool. Holy shit, dinosaurs. the summertime because that just cools you right down. So how do you make those? How do you make those? How did they make ice back in the day? Well, I guess I told you earlier, right? And no, it wasn't reserved for the rich. It was reserved for those that knew. Like, hey, dig a hole, wintertime, put ice in there, wintertime, freeze water in big containers or a whole bunch of little containers, right? Because you left them outside, because it's freezing outside. And then you take them and you put them in your hole, seal that place up. Sawdust helps to, insulate it even more. And you got you an ice chest all year round. Badass. And whatever liquids you put in there, and food, right? You can keep your food even longer because you can freeze it. Yeah, food and liquids froze. You got your freezer, a natural freezer, a smart freezer. So yeah, thank you folks for hanging out with me on this Zoot report, road trip Zoot report. Maybe I'll get bored and we'll have us another little discussion or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something. See, look at that sun. It's so bright. Wow. So, yeah. So thank you all very, very much. It's 7 something. It's getting close to my dinner time. Sun's trying to set. Everyone have a wonderful Saturday, and